Watch this.
Friends, family, and the state of Idaho are preparing to lay to rest Dirk Kempthorne, a man who served the Gem State and the country. We'll tell you how you can honor his memory. And a state of Washington-based immigration attorney is being accused of malpractice and pushing her clients into filing immigration applications they did not qualify for. Now she's being sued, and hundreds of alleged victims are speaking out. The state is honoring Governor Dirk Kempthorne's life. He served many roles for his state and country: mayor of Boise, U.S. Senator, governor, and Secretary of the Interior. But more importantly, he's being remembered for being a wonderful father, husband, and friend. Today, officers transported his body to the Capitol Rotunda, where he is currently lying in state. Our Cooper Morgan is live there at the State House. Cooper.
Well, thanks, Justin. Yeah, as you kind of said, former Governor Dirk Kempthorne's casket is right there. We've been here for a couple hours now, and guard has changed a lot, but people are just kind of coming through, paying their respects, and then moving on. That bigger ceremony was this morning, and it did get emotional for friends, family, and Idaho State leaders. His casket was escorted by Idaho State Police this morning. Like you said, they parked at the front steps and placed Kempthorne right in front of where the Idaho Liberty Bell usually is. From there, the loud bangs of a 19-gun salute commenced before he was moved inside. There were, again, tears and sniffles as music honored him, and Idaho leaders remembered him.
We are here to celebrate and publicly proclaim Dirk's victory over illness and death. Some will report that Dirk died of cancer on April 24th, while those of us who knew him witnessed his courageous battle against his illness.
And confidential work he did getting endangered Americans and allies out of Afghanistan. I would get a call in the middle of the night from Dirk saying, "I need a plane, and I need it now." You remember that, don't you?
As you kind of heard there, Kempthorne was known for his allegiance, his support of the services, and just who he was as a person. Stories like those echoed through the rotunda as the ceremony went on, finally concluding with the singing of "Here We Have Idaho" and the state motto, Esto Perpetua. The Capitol Rotunda will remain open till 7 p.m. today. The color guard will be here, and his casket will actually be transported tomorrow at 11 to the Cathedral of the Rockies, and that will be open to the public as well, that funeral service. And the KTVB will be streaming it both online and on air. But it was just an emotional day here, but a lot of people didn't say much about they said much about Kempthorne's character than maybe his accomplishments. That was something that was kind of widespread today. Who he was as a person was what they focused on.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard that as well, Cooper. Just a great man. Appreciate you being down there. And since the passing of Kempthorne, we've had the chance to talk with Idaho's congressional delegation about Kempthorne's impact. Take a listen.
And he operated in such integrity and in a way that he was an ambassador for Idaho in the best possible sense. And his loss is just a tremendous impact to those of us who knew him, who were friends with him, those who worked with him. And he left a stellar example and a wonderful legacy for our state, and he's going to be dearly missed.
He was quite an American and an Idahoan, and his heart was really, really in Idaho.
And as you heard Cooper talk about, one of the many things Governor Kempthorne will be remembered for is his support of the military. We got a comment from Daryl in Eagle. He said, quote, "As our governor, he was a great supporter of our soldiers and airmen at Gowan Field." Take a look. Daryl goes on to say, quote, "This is one of my favorite pictures when we returned from Kuwait at 4:30 a.m. That'd be in the morning. He was right there to greet us all." And like Hunter talked about in the governor's memorial yesterday, Kempthorne was a dedicated advocate for veterans, their families, and the military. He passed supportive legislation, earned a top civilian honor from the Idaho National Guard, and in 2004, during the Iraq War, he actually flew overseas to meet with the troops fighting for the United States. Most recently, he helped lead the commissioning of the new USS Idaho submarine. We have some good news on the state budget. Right now, the Legislative Services Office says Idaho is still on track to end the fiscal year with a balanced budget. Take a look. At the time the legislature adjourned, LSO expected the state to end June with an extra $67 million. But the latest report shows revenue collections are ahead. And so they believe they'll actually end the fiscal year almost $94 million in the black. We'll keep an eye on it.
It's been a really good year for taxpayers.
Well, you hear that quote from Senator Mike Crapo, and I know what you're thinking. Any year I have to pay taxes is a bad year for me as a taxpayer. Okay, but most of us also like schools and roads, so taxes are necessary. It's just a question for most folks of if they're being taxed too much. And that's what I talked to the senator about this afternoon. He was part of the effort to pass the big tax cuts last year that took effect this tax season. He says those cuts raised the average tax refund by 11%. But the criticism is that the tax cuts are for the wealthy. In fact, the Tax Policy Center said that 60% of the tax savings are benefiting the richest 20% of households. Crapo, however, says that study is out of date and that trillions of tax cuts went to working families.
$2.6 trillion was for people making less than $400,000 per year. And of the $1.7 trillion of the remainder, a huge amount of that was going to small businesses and pass-through organizations, and the vast majority of it either was there or in research and development tax credits that were reinstituted and bonus depreciation, which means that companies were able to invest in more capital, which means capital formation exploded, job increased, wages increased, and people's retirement accounts increased. So this whole argument that the wealthy are the ones who were taking advantage of this is just wrong.
Crapo also believes that these tax cuts, less money coming in, will address our growing debt and deficits. Again, critics say that doesn't make any sense. They say you can't pay down debt or get out of a deficit by bringing in less revenue, less money. It's a bit of a philosophical disagreement where he believes cutting taxes in the right way and spending less will boost the economy, and that will bring in more revenue.
What we did in our bill was to not raise taxes and then to find reforms where we saved spending. And we did not damage the economy. In fact, as I indicated, capital formation was dramatically boosted in our country. People's actual tax refunds went up and revenue went up. Wages went up, benefits went up, retirement accounts went up, and the bottom line is that the economy got stronger.
Now, I also talked to the senator about the possibility of suspending the gas tax. He said he'd be for that, but that it's only part of the issue with gas prices spiking, the closing of the Strait of Hormuz being, of course, the biggest part. A reminder for you, this Tuesday is the May primary election. Early voting wrapped up around the state, actually just 7 minutes ago. If you missed out, do not worry. Polls open in your county at 8 a.m. this Tuesday. They close at 8 p.m. If you are registered to vote, all you need is your driver's license, a passport, maybe a government ID. In Idaho, you can register to vote, though, in person as well on Election Day, right at your polling location. You will need that ID, though, and proof of residency, so like a lease, a utility bill, or a bank statement with your physical address on it. Absentee ballots that have not been returned, they need to be given right to your county's election office by 8 p.m. on Election Day. You can find everything you need to know on our voter guide, by the way. You can just text VOTE, one word, 4 letters, VOTE, to 208-321-5614. We'll send you a link right to that guide, right to your phone. If you need it in Spanish, just text the word VOTO to the same number. Washington just uncovered a mountain of additional complaints against a local attorney accused of falsifying immigration documents. The operation has allegedly harmed dozens of people trying to get work permits or green cards, but the attorney denies any wrongdoing. Sharon Yu breaks it down as we go beyond the 208.
It was a call neither sibling wanted to receive.
Because I've always been a daddy's girl, so it just felt like me as a little girl just getting my dad ripped away from me.
Izzy Picazo and Luis Manzo Rocha found out morning of November 4th, 2025, ICE arrested their father, Nelson Picazo Sanchez. We interviewed the siblings a few days after their father's arrest.
Regular routines, going to work. It's 6:45, they're down by the landing, and he gets pulled over, thinking it's a regular pullover, and then they get surrounded by SUV vans.
Sanchez does not have a criminal history. He had a work permit, but they later discovered that permit was tied to an application saying their father had been a survivor of domestic abuse, and that's why he qualified for a work permit. Tukwila-based attorney Alexandra Lozano applied for immigration protections for their dad under a federal program meant for some victims of domestic abuse.
And to be clear, like, your mom does not beat your dad.
No.
Like, your dad has never been a victim of domestic violence.
Amigos, tengan cuidado.
Now, a newly filed federal lawsuit accuses the attorney, who advertises extensively all over social media, of systematically steering clients into abuse-based immigration claims that in the end backfire against her clients.
This is an example where religion and integrity have been conflated.
Attorneys Arik Bomstick and Omar Barraza are co-counsel on the suit against Lozano.
Siempre tenemos una virgen que nos cuide, que nos ayude.
They say her marketing strategy uses imagery of the Virgin de Guadalupe, a significant Mexican cultural and religious figure. Many of the plaintiffs say that faith-based approach drew them in to hire her.
That's the Virgin Mary, la Virgen de Guadalupe.
Including Gabriel Martinez Garcia. He was one simple procedure away from receiving legal status. He says Lozano pushed him to file through the abuse program known as VAWA.
She didn't explain me what was VAWA. She didn't explain me the documents. I had to find my own way by Googling.
While Gabriel is a survivor of domestic abuse from his former spouse, his case was later denied over electronic signature issues on the documents, leaving him in deportation proceedings.
I had 2 kids. I was really scared when they told me I had deportation. I was really scared.
King 5 also obtained complaint records filed with the Washington Attorney General's office dating back years. In one 2021 complaint, a woman wrote that her husband was encouraged to apply for VAWA even though we never mentioned abuse or problems in our relationship. In another complaint filed in 2024, a man alleged Lozano told him to accuse his wife of abuse, quote, so it would be easier to apply for VAWA. Alexandra Lozano denied any wrongdoing in a statement and said she stands by her work.
They're playing with my life.
Back at the attorney's office, multiple plaintiffs showed up hearing King 5 was going to be there. Many now having lost their only chance to stay in the United States legally.
And there's more people I see online. And that's why when I told my mom, we gotta go, Mom. We gotta speak up so more people can come and speak against her, because what she's doing is bad.
Now, the 2 attorneys on the civil case insist she's innocent and nothing has been proven yet. But for the people who have had their cases denied and some people deported, this feels very real, and they have a very slim chance, if any, of ever coming back to the United States. Now to the 411 on the 208. A proposal for a data center in eastern Idaho has a lot of people upset, bringing in yelling and police to a public hearing. Take a look. Last night, hundreds of community members showed up to Pocatello City Hall, voicing their opinion on whether an Arizona-based company should get a conditional use permit for this data center project. Many spoke about their disappointment in the lack of details given by the company, leading to confusion about the issues the project could cause to Pocatello's land, water, economy, and air quality. AC Boise is back at home tomorrow after their 2-zip win Wednesday. This time, it's part of the USL Cup. So they're going to face Monterey Bay SC of the USL Championship League. That's actually the league above Boise's USL League One. Right now, Boise sits in second place in their group. Monterey Bay is in third. The game kicks off at 7 o'clock tomorrow. If you can't make it down, you can watch the game live on ESPN Plus or here locally on KTVB Digital Channel 7.2. You are running out of time to tour the St. Jude Dream Home. The open house goes through Sunday. Tours today and tomorrow are from noon to 8. Sunday tours noon to 6. During your tour, you can sign up to win a $10,000 shopping spree at More Furniture. Tickets reserved today are eligible to win a $2,500 Visa gift card. The drawing for the house, plus all the other prizes, is going to be June 10th. At last check, there are about 5,000 tickets still available, so make sure to grab yours if you have not already. And that's the 411 on the 208. For a lot of roads in the Treasure Valley, it's not why did the chicken cross the road, but how is that mother duck and her ducklings going to make it through that intersection to the park? Nearly 30 years ago, a group of volunteer guides showed John Miller just how they'd make it in this 208 redial.
One mother, 14 babies, two incredibly busy intersections, one cement mixer, an army of volunteers, death, doom, and peril.
Just hope everybody slows down, really.
You see, baby ducks don't much understand what this means, although they seem to learn quickly what this means. Watch it.
She did real well. They had a little trouble getting back up the curb on the other side.
But they seem to be halfway home, although experts told volunteers this is one situation where nature, and sometimes traffic, takes its own course.
No. I used to have ducks when I was a kid, and they have their babies, and you just can't let them get squished.
which is why the cardboard people risked life and limb and entire lunch hours while the promised land lay right up ahead.
How's it going, cardboard lady?
Oh, fine. Mother of 5 understands these things.
Look out!
They were wonderful. People stopped all over.
So that mom and babies, every last one, could run full steam ahead to the end of this story. Tragedy narrowly averted.
Oh, there they go. They did good.
That's it.
Wow. Awesome. Good to hear from John Miller again. We are well into spring now, and you may see ducks and geese on city roads, even maybe the shoulder of the interstate. So what should you do if you see the animals maybe in need of help getting away from cars? Well, the Idaho Transportation Department says the best thing you can do is slow down, stay alert, and give the animals some space. Now, if you see bigger animals near the road, you can call Idaho Fish and Game, and an officer will relocate that animal to a safer area.
Well, a system coming from the Gulf of Alaska is going to shake things up for us this weekend. It'll cool our temperatures down, increase those winds, allow for some frost to form, unfortunately, and then we'll even be looking at some mountain rain and snow showers. Now, the good news is the wind event should not be as bad as what we saw earlier this week. We are expecting gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour Saturday and Sunday afternoon, so could still be significant, could still blow around some unsecured objects outside. But those temperatures will be a little shocking coming off of the warm temperatures that we've been having recently. Tomorrow, 10 to 15 degrees below average. Treasure Valley and Magic Valley will stay in the low 60s for those afternoon high temperatures. So that means a lot of the day could be spent in the 50s. It will definitely be cool, especially with those winds on top of that. 50s for the Haley and Fairfield area, but spots like Stanley and McCall, a little bit higher in elevation, will likely only reach the 40s tomorrow afternoon. Now, the system won't be overhead on Saturday. However, bright and early tomorrow, even before the sun comes up, this is just before 5 a.m., we're already starting to see some of those light showers in the northern mountains relative to Boise, that is. Precipitation will continue shifting further south by Sunday when temperatures are dropping even more. We'll see our snow levels lower to about 4,000 to 5,000 feet in elevation. Owyhee Mountains and then west central mountains could be seeing a few snow flurries, which could make some higher elevation travel a little bit messy. By the time we get to Sunday afternoon, it's possible a few stray showers do move through the western Snake River Plain. They would most likely be just rain, and it would be very few and far between showers in general. We could see a stray thunderstorm as well, although those chances are pretty low for the valleys. They would be most likely in the mountains. So 60s Saturday and Sunday will be a cool weekend overall. Those winds are just going to be annoying both of those afternoons for the weekend. 30s is what we're waking up to Sunday and Monday. Those are the early mornings when we could see that frost form, especially in the western Magic Valley, where Twin Falls is expecting to reach that freezing temperature of 32. The warm up will come later next week. Let's go ahead and look at some traffic. What's going on out here? We can see current traffic flow showing that there's a little bit of a slowdown between Boise and Nampa, moving at about 30 miles per hour in speed. Highway 2026, Chinden Boulevard, or Highway 44 is a better option if you are heading west. Drive times along I-84 are not terrible, but it will take you more than 30 minutes to get from Boise to Caldwell right now.
Let's talk about two of your comments, both on taxes. First, from Bill, talking about how during the Clinton administration, they got rid of taxes on Social Security, income, retirement, and well, that's still being taxed. It is. There are some new deductions, though, that are designed to keep only about 12% of seniors paying taxes on that Social Security income. Carl saying this about taxes and the deficit, that the CBO projects the deficit to only grow. That is, an older report came out in February. So we'll see. Hopefully the outlook is better now and soon.